All for it. All for it. Hey, strangers, come on in. Come on in. Hey, Charlene. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Gospel Glam. Hey, lady, how you doing? Missed you guys. Had to come in for a minute and have a few discussions. Sunshine. We're doing okay. Keisha, I'm gonna have to fill you in on what's going on. Hey, the other Keisha. Hey, hey, hey. I got both of my Keishas in here. Twist, twist. Sonya, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So I'm gonna try to wait for a few more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, I like that. Hey, chatters. Um, so I had to, chill out for a minute, just sit back, let things go as they go. Um, did a little moving around. Right, Tanya. Right, right, right. Did a little moving around and things of that nature. So I told you guys that I would be switching stuff up a little bit, especially with the location. So I'm on the way to the Bat Cave. That's all I can say. I'm on the way to the Bat Cave. um, but just looking at some of the stuff that's been going on, what I woke up to this morning is, and I don't know if anybody on here is from North Carolina, but y'all know about these Carolinas right here, right? So what I woke up to this morning is that North Carolina, specifically Asheville, North Carolina. And I don't know if you guys remember earlier this summer, I kept telling you that I was in the mountains and I was doing some stuff in the mountains. That's where it was. So Asheville, North Carolina came to a unanimous decision to give its people back reparations. They're going to give their people reparations for all the years of mistreatment, all the years of having to deal with hate, all the years of having to knowingly and unwillingly have to deal with the different disparities that were and are present in that small town. It's a nice town, y'all. I mean, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. But their council made a unanimous decision. They had I think it was like 7-0. Now, when I say reparations, I know everybody like cut the check, cut the check. Okay, so they're not getting checks like that. It's not like a stimulus check. But what they're doing is instead of giving money to, I don't know whether you want to say black, African American, melanated folks, whoever, instead of giving direct checks to these folks, now I better not say anything about melanated because they're going to be trying to put me on the chopping block with Nick Cannon. So let me not say that. Yes, I am. Yes, I am because I love my melanin. But, folks of the melanated sort, um, they're going to be putting the money back into the community instead of giving it to them. She said, I want the money. Go and get the money. Go and get the money. They're putting the money back into the community. So they are acknowledging that there are disparities in employment. They are acknowledging that there are disparities and unequal opportunities in housing. Y'all, this is very important because one of the things that happened back in the day that was done by, I'm going to say, people that believed in kind of, keeping other groups down, they had certain things that they call red lines. And wherever that red line was, that was usually a community that was considered high risk, like a black community. And in those red lines, they pretty much made sure that the people that were within those red lines could not afford adequate housing. So it was kind of a way for them to segregate, the haves versus the have-nots. And it wasn't that long ago that they had to get rid of these red lines. And at one point, Bloomberg blamed the 2008 crash on them erasing. They said they erased them, but them erasing these red lines. So they're going to be addressing the housing disparities, and they're going to go and make things or attempt to make it easier for black folks, us, to be able to afford adequate housing. So this is one of the things. Listen, everything may not go the way that we want it to go, but the fact that, number one, they had a unanimous vote. Number two, you actually had, if y'all go and read up on this, you have people that are acknowledging that a lot of things have been done, not just to, black people in that community, but just in the country as a whole. People, having some public acknowledgement and feeling like, a lot of people say we shouldn't be responsible for what whoever did, but just somebody feeling like, look, we did give these folks the raw deal. Like, this stuff did happen. So I just think that's awesome. So shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to Asheville, North Carolina. I want you guys to go check that story out. Go check them out in Asheville because that is something major. We always talk about our 40 acres and a mule. Okay. I'm going to need you to put that 40 acres and a mule up. Go buy you some real estate. Go get you some stuff that appreciates. Don't go running to somebody's car lot buying something that depreciates the minute you drive it off the lot. You know what I'm talking about? Get you something that appreciates, that's going to give and help build wealth. Because one thing that our folks need to know is as long as you have property, you got money. You'll never be broke. As long as you have some real estate, I don't care if the house ain't nothing but 300 feet. As long as you got some real estate, people can call you broke, but they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know now. No. Yeah. So for them to open up these opportunities, even acknowledging the inconsistencies and just the unequal opportunities on the job, they are acknowledging, look, yeah, we doing the same thing, but you willing to pay. Like, come on, y'all. This is big. It may not be the news that people want to hear, but listen, I believe in celebrating every victory, no matter how small. And for this town, this government in this town, and understand, for those of you that are familiar with North Carolina, especially Asheville, which is a tourist town, Asheville is predominantly white. So for them to even come to this conclusion, come on, y'all. Come on. Hello. I just think that was something that was and is major, and we got to celebrate every milestone. Every milestone. So yeah. Won't it do it? Won't it will. Won't it will. The next thing, I had some people that inbox me, and I wasn't sending any messages back. I took a break. Okay. When I break, I break. So I got a couple messages about the stuff with Jada and August. Listen, I didn't respond. It's gonna sound ugly, y'all. I promise I ain't trying to be ugly. I didn't respond to it because I don't care. Those are facts. I could give two dimes in the nickel when it comes to worrying about what somebody else got going on in their bedroom and their house and their Dubois. I don't care. That ain't none of my business. Who Sam, Ham, Jam, Cram, whoever who slept with, didn't sleep with, rocked to sleep, none of my business. That ain't none of my business. So, yeah, if you were looking for a response on that, that ain't none of my business. I don't. That's your bedroom. Those are, those your problems. You know. That was just, yeah, you know. Hopefully, things will work out the way they're supposed to work out. That's all I can say. Now, on Nick Cannon, I do have something to say. So I heard last night that he had got fired about some stuff that he said. And, right, Charlene. And I'm going to say this, and I know that a lot of people, I'm saying a lot of people, not that many people in here right now, but when people go back and watch it, they'll probably disagree with me. But this is just where I stand. I see, hey, Butterflyness. I did finish it. I sure did. I put a video together and I never posted it because I've been wide open. I have been wide open. But for me, if I say that I'm going to back my people, if I say that that I believe that certain things matter, and I believe all things matter. But if I say that certain things matter, if I tell you that I'm gonna ride or die for my folks, then I need you to understand that when I say that, I can't be selective about that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people may not like Nick Cannon. Some people feel like he's, conceited. Some people feel like they call him a sellout. A lot of people feel different ways about him, just like they feel different ways about everybody that's on here. Everybody got an opinion. Here's my thing. First, let me address Viacom and CBS before I go to Nick. Let me address them first. I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS, and I don't know, YouTube might hit my video. I don't know. I'm gonna try to be careful with my words. I'm calling BS on the fact that all of a sudden they are so concerned about people's feelings being hurt by certain comments. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I agree with anything Nick said. Let me make that clear. I'm going to make that perfectly clear. But what I'm saying is, I see hypocrisy at work here. And what I see is something that's a little bit greater than Nick. And so when I come to you and I'm telling you that I'm concerned about all of our folks, this is why I'm concerned about all of our folks. So you're concerned about what he had to say. I heard what he said. It's not anything that I haven't heard before. It didn't shake me to my core or anything like that. That's his opinion. Hey, it is what it is. I can't change his opinion. That's not my job to try to change his opinion. What I think the issue was, and I think even in Nick's thinking, just my thoughts, Doc's thoughts, he felt like since he was on his show, since it was what, Cannon's class or something like that, then he had more liberty, more freedom to say what he had to say, how he felt about certain things. On Viacom and CBS, on their end, I feel like they already had an issue with him. They took him, basically removed him from everything that he was doing for them, and he did a lot for them. He brought them in a lot of money. Let's be real. So when he came back with his comment yesterday, when he made his own statement, and he kind of put things out there about, him bringing in, basically building a $1 billion brand for them off Wildin' Out. And I'm a fan of Wildin' Out. Even been to the shows live. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, look, people might not like what he's saying, but what he's saying right now, those are facts. So if you look at things in their totality, you still have to be mindful of what's going on. You didn't like what that man said. Your business. You're professional. You pull him to the side and say whatever you got to say. Let's talk about these contracts or whatever. Get him to do whatever you need him to do. If he don't, hit his pocket, and you keep it pushing. But this gave them an opportunity to ride off, it's my opinion, y'all, to ride off what's going on right now. Oh, So you have a person that looks like this that's making these comments, and he's in control of all of this stuff, and we are in control of the things that he's in control of. So now you got an opportunity to go and make an example out of somebody. I do agree with him on that example thing. I don't think that network, that business was so shook that they just, oh, we just got to end it all with you. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Nick even came back in his statement. He said, they lied. They said I wasn't willing to apologize. They said I wasn't willing to negotiate. I wasn't willing to come to the table. He said that was a lie. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But what I'm saying is for them to let him go and drop him that quickly off something that he said on his own stuff, that let me know that this issue was an issue that was already there. There was already some underlying issues. There were some pre-existing issues that were there, and this gave them the opportunity to go ahead and get rid of him and do what they wanted to do from the beginning. Now, when it comes to wilding out, they can go, hey, Basic Mom, they can go and they can try to build, try to get somebody else. I'm telling y'all, I don't know if you watch Wildin' Out, but if you do watch it, that show will not last without Nick. That is his show. And he even said that he built that show using his own private money out of his own pocket. And basically they kind of swindled him out of his rights. Here we go talking about rights again. So at the end of the day, it is imperative that our people understand that when we own something, and y'all, I'm talking to myself too, that when we own something, I don't care how sweet the deal is. You never give up your right to your creative work. That's where we mess up every time. We mess up every time because they know that we don't know any better. When that money is shining, got that nice little gleam coming from it, sounds like a good deal. You can't see any way, you in this network or this business to ever have this falling out, so you don't think you have to worry about these things, and they get us every time. So he came in his statement and he made some demands. He's demanding the right ownership to his show that he built. It is his show. Now people are like, oh, well, you said you're the boss because Nick said a boss can't be fired. People are looking at that at face value. I need you to understand this. Being a boss, when people say that they are a boss, that's a mentality. That's a state of mind. That is not, you can say, oh, yeah, that's my boss. But when somebody is making boss moves or doing boss-like things or exhibiting boss-like behaviors, that is a mindset that they are in. So for people to say, oh, well, you got fired, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Because when you built yourself from the ground up, when you created and built your own brand and you didn't ride off the backs of others, no, you can't be fired. You cannot be fired. And what's going to happen is if you look at his statement, he basically said, look, I wish your counsel would have, given you better advice because we got contracts and stuff that we're going to have to deal with. So I hope you guys are happy about your decision. And what they did was they keep reacting off the public. So you got these people, oh my God. And don't get me wrong, if somebody is offended, if I said something that offended a group, I'm going to come back and I'm going to apologize to that group for whatever I said that offended them. Now, if I stand on what I said, I'm not going to take back what I said. I said what I said. But if it offended you, then for that, I would give that person, that group, whoever, an apology. But I would welcome an open dialogue about, whatever I said. If my intentions weren't to offend you, then I would want to know, like, what about what I said at that particular time? Explain to me exactly what I said to offend you. That's how you learn. That's like a parent has a child, and the child goes and does something, and you just pop the child whenever he does it. Like, the child goes and plays with the outlet, plugging stuff in the outlet. If you just go and pop the child's hand down and don't tell them why you're popping his or her hand down, you know what him or her is going to do? He or she is going to take their butt right back and they gonna plug the first fork or whatever they can into that outlet because they don't understand why you're popping their hand. Why shouldn't I put this in the outlet? So we want to take these opportunities and make them learning opportunities so that, because every experience is a learning experience. So you help folks understand, okay, this offended me in this type of way. That's how you learn. Give people something to think about so they can go back and process that information and see, if they can see something different. And that's what was offered. Now, let me go back to Viacom for a minute. I'm calling foul on them. Like I said, I'm calling BS because you're not going to make me believe that at this particular point you are so concerned about the racial relations. You're not going to make me believe that you are so in tune now with culture and diversity that you're willing to, you're going to tackle everything head on. Like at that very minute, you're not trying to hear any explanations. I don't want to hear it. And I'm saying that because as a person who has watched Wild 'N Out, listen, they talk about race. They make fun of people's races. They make they make sexist jokes. They make jokes regarding homophobia. They make jokes regarding ageism, sexism, feminism. They make jokes toward everything. And guess what? CBS and Viacom has been letting that show run for years. They have been backing the show. They have been promoting the show. They have been marketing the show. They have been straight funding the show. They bring people on or allow people to come on that they know are controversial, that are going to get some things started. So you will not sit here and act all high, mighty, and dignified and act like you so concerned about people's feelings now. When there was a show that was supposed to air like yesterday, you just cut the show off. And I'm going to tell you what bothered me about that. It's almost like people feel like certain people are just indispensable, right? Or are dispensable. So you take his show off because you're pissed off, and then you go and put on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So you go and replace him with another black. Y'all, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. Mm-mm. So they took the show off and replaced it with a episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay. So you take him off because he has this controversial stuff going on right now, and then you go and put another black man on that's dealing with some controversial stuff in his life, in his private life or whatever, and this is what you go and put on because you feel like as long as we got a black person on the screen that we're going to be excited about it, we're good. We're going to take this show off with the black folks, and we're going to go and put this one on so they won't complain about us putting Magnum P.I. or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. But to me, I do feel like this has a lot of political play that is involved. I feel like had Nick done that on their platform, then they would have found some excuses and they would have had their crisis manager and their Olivia Popes jumping on the situation, and they would have found a way to work it out because it would be a reflection of them. Hey Trayvon, how you doing? But at this point, you have this man and he's doing his little thing over here. And don't get me wrong, the thing is that people are laughing at Nick, that he's a made man. I mean, he's on Fox. He has this other stuff going on, so it's not like they just killed him with what was going on. And the thing is, when you are a creator, when you're somebody of the creative type, if you can create one thing, you can create another. And the best thing about being a creative type is when you do something and you do it from your heart, there is no duplication. You understand? There is no imitation. You can go and try to tell somebody that this is what it is, but it's all about where your heart is. It's all about, where your creative genius comes from. and nobody can imitate or duplicate your creative genius. So even if they go and put some other people on there, like whatever they decide to do, it's not gonna work. And if what they did was not in good faith, it's not gonna work. And I believe in all honesty, and I could be wrong, but I feel like Wildin' Out was the thing that kept a lot of people from our communities watching MTV. Because otherwise, I don't think that you would have people even watching MTV like that. So he kept a lot of our people, in tune, especially the younger folks. They don't know nothing about MTV. They weren't here for Yo MTV Raps and all that. Like, they weren't here for that. So I do think that they went and made some rush decisions on some things. I think that they could have handled that a whole lot better, and they could have used it as a teacher moment for Nick and for their network to show people how to work out their differences. I honestly believe that that would have been the professional thing to do. That's what I would have recommended. I'm just saying. And it's going to be hard because a lot of those people, Charlene, a lot of them do acknowledge the fact that Nick brought them on, that he put them on. And I mean, they have a talented group of people up there, and people have gone on to do other things. Justine, what is it, Justina? Just hilarious. You got DC Young Fly blowing up. Shoot, even Zoe. Y'all know Zoe. I know you at the line. Like, you got a lot of people, Carlos and I can't even remember. You got people doing those spin-off shows and getting acting roles and stuff like that. And I'm like, to me, I just look at it as something bigger because I see where people are being given opportunities to go just by going and being able to, showcase their talents, be a little funny, like all this stuff. And when you go and punish him, you're not just punishing him, you're punishing everybody. Because basically, in this situation, it's almost like the hands of one or the hands of all. Because, and I could be wrong, I don't see all of them staying on there if they allow somebody else to take over his show. And what they'll probably do, Lord have mercy, what they'll probably do is use one of the guys that are on the show, because that's how this thing usually works. Use somebody that's there that people like already and try to give that person the shot at the show so that other people won't walk off, if that makes sense. So you'll take and I'm just gonna throw this out there, like Hitman, and like put him over it. People like him, so they're gonna still watch the show for him. So it's a thing where you start trying to use people or try to play them against each other. I'm hoping that they don't fall for that. But I do think that he should have been given the opportunity, and that the people that watch the show, the people that are watching what's going on with everything, they should give them the opportunity to see how this stuff works. Because you got a lot of people, and I'm not excusing or condoning anyone's behavior, but you got a lot of people that are saying stuff out there, just coming, letting anything fly out the side of their mouth. At the end of the day, it's their opinion, but you're not completely erasing them like they never happened. We got leaders that come out and they say anti-blah stuff every single day. Shoot, some of them every single second, and you won't even address that. Now, let me take this thing full circle because it goes back to a certain muting culture. Y'all get what I'm saying? It goes back to a muting culture that's being used out there. And I can tell you, I have been muted. Let me take that back. People have attempted to mute me. Let me say that. And in that process, if people are really serious about it, there are no limits to the depths that they may go to try to make sure that you remain voiceless. And if you are a person that stands firm in your word, if you said what you said, then yes, somebody put it in here before, yes, you are an immediate threat. You pose an immediate and imminent danger on anybody that feels or fears what you have to say or what you could possibly do in a situation. And that's what I'm seeing now. A lot of these types of people being threatened, are being hushed, being silent. I don't think that, regardless of how you feel about anybody, I don't think that we as a people should sit around and allow that to happen. And this, again, everything comes back full circle. You know, you see somebody else's situation and you talk about their situation and you kiki and caca about their situation. Yeah, such and such happened. And that's why I would say you have to be careful. You have to be careful about, getting your kicks or getting your rocks off of someone else's hurt. You understand? Because you never know what situation you're going to be in. And that's what I said last year, and that's what I'm going to continue to say this year. You have to be careful because you may not be in the exact same situation that somebody's in, but you never know what type of rocks or what type of sticks or whatever life is going to throw at you. You don't know. On any given day, you don't know. You know, so you have to be careful about passing judgment on people in certain on most situations when you don't know the full story, first off, and secondly, if it's not you, because when you get put in your own situation and you get to see what it feels like for people to attempt to kick you when you are down or when they believe you're down, then that's when this stuff really hits home. And that's what I'm seeing right now, this particular moment. That is exactly, hey Tirana, that's what I'm seeing right now. So I feel like, again, you have to there's a certain degree of protection that needs to be, put out there. You don't have to agree with everything that everybody does, but there's some good in everybody. I'm just gonna say that. There's good in everybody. So we just need to be everyone as well, meaning that no one is exempt. Everyone will have their day, not their day, their day. Everybody will have their day, and you don't know how that thing gonna come across. You don't know how it's gonna hit. So, my opinion with all of that, with Viacom and all that, I feel like they were making a statement for certain people. They went ahead and did that. I feel like it was more of a political move than anything. I feel like they're gonna have to, behind the scenes, y'all either gonna have to give that man his stuff back, or they're gonna have to put out some money. And maybe, they're willing to risk that right now. I don't know, but they're gonna have to pay that man some money. And see about that business, see about that life. So, and they'll probably do that and try to do it real quiet, and and hopefully he won't go. If that happens, he won't go into that situation quiet. As far as whatever he had to say, I hope that he takes this opportunity if he feels like he offended somebody, or you got people saying, I feel this way. If they won't allow him to come on and make it a learning opportunity, I hope that he creates even that same show that they tried to hurt him with. Use that same show to help people further understand what he was trying to say. Maybe allow some folks to come on and express, their feelings about what he had to say, and why they were offended by it, why they felt like he should have said it another way, or whatever. Not bowing down to anybody, but education is about learning. Education is about hearing from other people, getting other people's perspectives. And I think that they are truly, truly, truly missing the opportunity at such a time as this to help people understand what's going on right now. And you don't have to agree with people all the time. Like, you don't have to hate each other because you don't agree with somebody, contrary to what some people may think. Right, communication. Contrary to what some people may think. Just because I don't agree with you, I don't have to hate you, and vice versa. But if that's something that you choose to do, to each his own. But I think that we have to take advantage of those teachable moments, people. Yes. Um, One of the other things that I saw this morning, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get on off here because I'm not trying to hold you guys long today. And this time, when I say I'm getting off here, I'm getting off here. So, in the midst of this article, when they were talking about the reparations and stuff like that, y'all know how they put the little hyperlinks in there that take you to another link. So there was a link up there about Sojourner Truth, and I'm like, well, dang, where did this link come from? Like, why did they put this in here? You just throw all Black history together. Y'all know how it goes. Hey, Miss Stat, you throw all Black history together. You know. So they had something in there about Sojourner Truth, and I'm like, okay. So they had her listed as a feminist, and under her history, it just talked about her being a feminist and fighting for women's rights. And I'm sitting here like, but that's not how this story goes. You know what I'm saying? So, as a person that went to South Carolina State University, the first dorm that I stayed in on campus was Truth Hall, which was named after Madam Sojourner Truth. Um, but they just painted her as this feminist, and I'm like, wait a minute, because that comes with its own connotations, whatever. They just completely ignored the fact, and I don't know whether it was intentional or not, that she was a crusader for her people. She was a crusader for Black people as a whole, and because she was a woman, she also took issue and was really concerned about women's rights. But I don't know if she ever coined herself to be a feminist. She basically said that she is women's rights. I mean, you had a lot of things that were going on, and you know, you were getting voting rights for women and certain things that were being done for women, but they weren't also being done for Black women. Black women were excluded from those things. That's why we talked about with the celebration of Juneteenth. You know, you had one law that said that slavery was illegal and that people were free, but then when it comes down to the states and certain things like that, everything didn't happen all at one time. And that's what was happening with women's suffrage and all this stuff. And I'm like, again, why did y'all put this right here? Y'all gonna give reparations to her family or something like that? But I'm just sitting here and I'm like, this lady did all these things. She did all these things, and they just got a little clip in here, and I'm still like, where the flip did this come from? This is like so miscellaneous right now. It's just like, anyway. But them just speaking on her feminism and not actually, talking about what she did for the culture, because she was for the culture. Now, what they did do was they addressed her. You can call it a poem. It's not a poem, really. A speech. Now they call it "Ain't I a Woman," right? And I've actually done this. I've read it at work, kind of reenacted this speech or whatever at work that she did at a National Women's Convention. I want to say it was in Akron, Ohio. I could be wrong, but there was this big thing. She had the regular speech, and see, this is what I'm talking about, and you'll see where this is going to. And I guess I can relate her to Nick with this. So you had the original speech that was done by one of her friends. I think the name was like Maurice or Marcus or something like that. You had the original speech that a week after she got up and said whatever she had to say, he basically transcribed what she said and put it out there. Okay, maybe 12 years later, you had this other guy that came and he gave an interpretation of the speech saying that this is what Sojourner Truth, and no, that was not her birth given name, but what he's saying that she said, and he completely changed up everything that this woman said. Problem I have with it, if you go and look at a lot of the history books, or if you even, and let me say, Sojourner Truth was never mentioned in my Black history class. Let me be clear on that. It wasn't until I went to a HBCU that, I really got to even hear her name, but really started digging into certain things because it was a part of my class. Um, hey, all right, Charlene. So, when you hear people talk about her, they always give you the version, or they usually, let me not say always, they usually give you the version, the last version that was given. My problem with this version is the guy not only changed up her words, but he gave her this strong Southern dialect. And y'all know I got a strong Southern dialect. That draw is crucial, you hear me? But they gave her this, he gave her this Southern dialect, and the problem that I have with it, it wasn't even that it was just that she has a country twang. Her words were almost like she was speaking in a Ebonics, and I had a problem with that. So it came across as if, because she talked about, people being intelligent and them feeling like, maybe black people or maybe women lack that intelligence or whatever. Um, she couldn't read, she couldn't write, but she could speak on things. To sound familiar, right? She could speak on some things. But basically, this person that did the second one, and I don't know if this was his intention, but he just really had her coming across like she really didn't know anything. Like she was just a little ignorant thing. And the thing is with, and I hate to say it, y'all say I'm wrong, y'all can call me wrong, whatever, but people have this misconception that people down south are slow anyway because we talk slow. So they have this misconception that we're slow anyway. Now, in these particular times, you had certain states like Arkansas and I can't even say, but you had certain states that they identify with the southern states, right? So I guess he felt like, she was close enough. Let us go ahead and give her this country twang. Um, Come on, Miss Bad. You better tell them. Better tell them. So y'all just go and read it. Read the one that it's entitled "Ain't I a Woman." Now don't get me wrong, and this is the one I usually read from myself, right? And I'm like, when I saw the other one, I'm thinking that the other one's not right, but that was the original one. And they said the other people have, written their interpretations, but this is the one. The first one is the one that her and her friend, he reviewed whatever. He stamp of approval on it. Yes, this was the message that I was giving out at this women's convention. So basically, anything else, null and void. But so when you go back and read this first one, she's saying what she's supposed to say, how she's supposed to say it. It wasn't all this extra Isa and it like all the while Isa been the climate. Like it wasn't all that. Y'all know how they typically have like slaves talking in movies. Y'all know, you know, Hollywood, everybody, Bollywood, everybody. They just got this way that they think all slaves talk. Duh. Um, but that's just how it came across. But in the original one, no, this woman was very intelligent. She was very, very intelligent. She was going so hard on these guys here. She went hard on them, and sometimes they were to me like, you just got insulted and you don't even realize that you got insulted, bro. Like that's what she's saying, and she was saying, that all this stuff gonna end up coming to a head, and that's exactly what happened. And we're seeing history repeat itself right now, right now. So she put it out there, and one of the things that she said, and I'm not gonna quote it verbatim, but it was like basically if we black people or black women only have a pint of intelligence or a pint of something, while the man, not black, the man has a quart of it, then do you think it's fair to take our little pint? Let us keep the little pint that we have. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to take that away. But that's what happens. That's what happens. She was having one of them, dang, Craig. She like had one of those moments like, dang, I only got this. You want to take that too? court for a mighty long time. But yeah, you're not satisfied with me having a pint. You don't want to. You just don't want me to have nothing. Nathan, nada, cero, nunca, nothing, nothing. But she went on. That's okay. She went on to say that's okay. That's okay. Because very soon things will end up changing and things will come to a head. Things will come to a head. And she spoke the truth. Now, I never heard anybody referring to her as a prophet, although she did change religion. She was converted to another religion, and she did consider herself to be a preacher. So, but she said these things, and she said it's almost like being in between a hawk and a buzzard, I think she said. And basically, she was referencing the civil, all this civil discord and stuff that people had going on. And basically, you're dealing with one vulture that's just waiting to go in for the kill and swarm down and get you in a minute. And then you have the other vulture that's on the other side. At the minute you're down, they're ready to come and finish tearing you apart, and they want to finish you. Like, they want to get all Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter on you, like, finish him. Like, and you're caught in the middle of that. So it's like, and that's what she was saying that these men are caught in. Like, you caught up in the middle of this, and you need to realize where you at so that you can get yourself and everybody else out of this mess. If you allow people to have the right title to, they're supposed to have to go back and look. Men are supposed to help women out of carriage. Well, there's no man helping me. Now, in the original one, and all this stuff. Now I'm gonna get to this before I get off here. I'm hearing a lot on something. I want to be 100. God, let me be 1,000% clear. Y'all, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not, because at no time I'm breaking up. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Okay. I can't co-sign on people calling females bees and all this stuff, and then talk about other people not respecting women. Like, and I'm not a feminist. We're going to be clear on that. I'm not a feminist. But the same way that I won't call a guy out of his name and say something that would be considered disrespectful to him, I expect that same thing in return. And whenever you're talking about women, it's certain things, if you tend to go in a certain direction, there's a certain reaction that you're trying to get. So you have to be careful about addressing people. And this is the thing. Contrary to what anybody may tell you, and y'all may not agree with this, but if you have certain things, if this is a name that you wouldn't call your mama, if this is a name that you wouldn't call, well, some people will, because they just about that life. But the average person, if this isn't a name that you would call your mama, your grandmother, you might call your sister that, I don't know. You might call your daughter that, I don't know, because like I said, some people. But then why are you calling anybody else that? That's what I'm saying. And if somebody tells you that they don't agree with it or don't call me that, why are you getting your feelings about it? Because at the end of the day, if it's that serious, if you have something, like if you want to say something to me and it's that important, if it's not important enough for you to, if you don't know my name, to find out what my name is, then it's not important. You can't take a few seconds to say, oh, what's your name now? Okay, and you address me by my name. Hey, you can address me by A if you need to. Hey, but it's so while we're looking at this whole thing, just like this person might be upset because this person called them the N word because of the negative connotations that comes along with it. You need to keep that same energy. You need to keep that same energy. Because even with, and I'm going to go for a dude for a minute, I don't agree with females calling other females that either. But if a guy refers to another guy as that, as a B, his intention is to be disrespectful, right? Because you basically saying that he got those female tendencies. You don't say female tendencies, you call him a B because you know that's going to gut punch him. So that's what you use it for. So if it's derogatory towards the male, all right, so this thing went all the way out. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this thing out. Because like I said, I'm in what's that? In these woods here, living this wood life. Um, but yeah, just a little respect. A little respect goes a long way. Um, I feel like when it comes to the fight for men, that females, women, ladies, girls, you know, whatever, I feel like we are, if not the main, we are the biggest supporters for our men. Um, not just black men, for men in general. I feel like we are the biggest supporters. And so to address us in a way that is not befitting um, to the women that we are, I think that's a bit out of pocket. I don't. Sorry, y'all. I just think that there can be some other things said, and that's what I'm talking about when it comes to all these other places that feel like, okay, so we're gonna go and fire this person for this, we're gonna address this person for this. If you're not addressing everything, the fight is not just about racism. There are different types of isms. There are different types of discrimination. There are different types of disparities that come into play when it comes to things that happen in this country. So we have to be careful about just selectively picking one thing to fight for and not addressing all the other things. So I'm like, for my guys, especially my black guys, I love you like a brother because that's what you are to me. For non-black guys, if that's a thing, because I feel like everybody got a little touch of it, got a little touch. Um, I love you for who you are, too, because not only I love you for being human, but I love you for being a person that the person that I see as my higher power actually made. And we were all wonderfully and beautifully made. It is what it is. So I'll address you or anyone else. I'll continue to address you accordingly and in a respectful manner. And I will hope that for the other females, no, nobody has disrespected me. So let me say that. Don't say, oh, Dr. Rogers, who can? Nobody. Nobody. I'm just saying this. Um, you know, give people the same thing in return. I respect you even if I don't think you deserve it. You know, because I can't let you be responsible for, you know, my final destination had me going somewhere that I won't plan to go. I'm just saying. But that's just where I'm at with the whole thing. So I just wanted to come on, hit y'all with a few things because I've been, off the scene for a while. Letting people do what they do, staying out the way. for the people that are going to be marching and, fighting for, justice and fighting against injustices in this country. I know that there's something going on this weekend. You guys be safe, stay focused, and never forget what the fight is about in its totality. Everybody will be coming out for different reasons. Everybody has I'm sure everybody has their own personal story with injustices. If it's not them, it's someone that they know, someone that they're close to. So when you're out there, remember that fight. Do everything in good faith, no malicious intent. And for the people that cannot make it, support the people that are making these things happen because they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it. So with that being said, I want to shout out One Papoose on that. For, pretty much like bringing things together. So shout out to One Papoose because again, that was a female. That really wanted to make, this stuff happen. If I'm not mistaken, I think I may have seen K Baby on her page. I think she's a part of it. Maybe some other people from Chicago. I'm not sure. I don't want to leave anybody's name out. And I'm calling the females first intentionally. God, it's somebody I cannot remember the name. So shout out to One Papoose for, helping to bring this stuff together. And then I want to shout out Debowski and Tyson for all of them coming together to collaborate on whatever they are doing because at the end of the day, it you can't just talk about it, you got to walk about it, like literally. So I give kudos to anybody that's actually willing to go and do the footwork. So you guys, please make sure that you are being safe down there. Make sure everybody stays hydrated. For the other people that are going to be there participating, you're always going to have negative stuff coming your way. Don't be distracted. Don't fall for the distractions. Go and do what you were purposed to do in whatever manner that you choose to see fit, representing whoever you feel that you need to represent. It doesn't have to be about one particular person. And this is just my belief now. It doesn't have to be about one particular person. I'm buffering. um, yeah, I think it'll be peaceful. I think it's gonna be nice. But shout out to everybody that helped put that together. If I didn't call your name, charge it to my head and not my heart. And just because I don't know everybody that's involved, so I apologize if I didn't call your name. No harm intended. But just show your support. If you can't show your support in person, yeah, Miss Pat, I'm about to get off. If you can't show your support in person, just hit some of the people up, and just show them some kind of support for what they are doing. Because a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. And what I was saying before my phone went out, and I'm going to do this before it goes out again, please remember that regardless of what you think about anybody, when it comes to justice, a threat to justice anywhere or an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So that means it doesn't matter who it is. If there's an injustice taking place, that threatens all of us. Period. Point blank. No one is exempt. Y'all see what's going on right now. Things are changing. Laws are changing. Pay attention. You say you woke, stay woke. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I have passed my little hour mark. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Leave your comments below. Hey, April, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Leave your comments below for the people that are going out, that are traveling. Safe travels. Safe travels. Be safe in the streets. Be careful. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.